Melon Lemon, hello. Anahiki, hello. AB, hola, hello. Hey, communist. I know, hey, Gary, I know that, Fern is about to go live, so I don't expect you to stay. Kiora, hello. What's up? Hello. Just an open leftist chat. People are allowed to come up. Thank you for the likes. Kyle, yes, hello. I do what I want. Hey, keep Brooklyn weird. Hello. Hey, Katie. Thank y'all for the likes. And please do feel free to share. Berry Farm, TTT, Lisa, Lila. Stop Jewish hate. Alright. No anti Semitism. Bliv, Black Swordsman Guts. Alright, cool. Oh, let me move out the way so people know what's going on. Oh yeah, there's a way I can fiddle with the I'm just now really seeing what your thing is. I love that. There's a way I can have myself in the live and enhance? No, filters? No. I feel like that's close. Effects. Maybe it's this. Oh, I'm framed. It didn't really help me though. A chill live today. Yeah. I'm tired of rage farming. I actually made a video about that. It's one of my most recent videos of how I'm sick of rage farming. So this is very much a not rage farm live. Like, human life is not up for debate. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, and free everywhere. There's colonialization and genocide. Hey, Lucifer. Hey. And I'll be going for maybe an hour or so. What do you mean? Oh, I put framing instead of farming. It's a typo that I am not going to fix right now. Wait, can I just... No, I can't. It'd be cool if I could just tap the screen. It'd be cool if they just made that easy. Hear your voice. No. Does anybody know how to, like, I can change my, like, my shape or something so I can be seen? Or can I only do that when I have guests? There's an option for a small box in the corner. I have a Samsung. In the corner, which corner? Because I'm looking over here where the share arrow, the magic wand, and the dots are, and then over here with the infinity loop and the guests. Hey, Gerald. What I'm getting from that is America loves death, and we do. Live myself, send some updates. Fair enough. Oh no, I mean the box the box would be in the corner. Oh. Oh, I know you mean the box would be in the corner, but I don't know what box. Let me see these loops. Oh, that's closed. Live with guests. Reserve. Oh, you can reserve a spot in somebody else's live. That's fun. Fixed layout. Maybe I can change it here. Without guests. Okay, I turned that on. I'm not sure unless I've been live, but I've seen others. Yeah, I've seen people change their little shape without guests being in there. Wallpaper, grid, no. Oh, now people can have wallpapers. That's something that Zoom does. Um, hmm, weird. And that takes it back to full screen with just me. Um, oh well, I guess I just don't worry. I can just turn off my camera so people can see the background. Well, I guess I can't turn off my camera, but I can switch it so people can, because the it's not gonna pick up the back of my room. So it's whatever. Put this phone down. Tilt the thing up. True save. Hello. Here we go. From the whole neck up. Not the whole neck. I need a little stability. Here we go. Technology sometimes, for real. Technology's great when it works. Has been under blue screen. Under my non-expert opinion. If anybody wants to come up, you're welcome to come up. Or we can chill. How's y'all day going? Let's chat it up. No rage farming here. Zelda, welcome. Heard. How was your day, communist? What's got you tired today, my friend? Resting after hospital visit. Everything all right? Not sure yet. Not me an urgent MRI next Tuesday. Oh shit. Burn fuel. Hi. EvolvingSeeds.com. What's up? Well, hopefully they catch whatever's going on since they need to call an emergency MRI. Thank y'all so much for the likes. Please do keep them coming and please do share the live. See if we can get some more people in here. Oh, hello?
How
I
you
can hardly
doing?
hear you. Oh, there
Can
we
you hear
go.
me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. What's up?
I just wanted to say thank you for putting up your platform because a lot of people don't have uh, places where it seems like they're actually they seem like they're on the wrong side of history a lot of times, and it seems like in many of these lives they argue back and forth. Sometimes they're on the same, like they are both right. Sometimes they're on the same side arguing different points, but it just seems a lot of like I like how you framed it as discussions, not debates, because literally that's the debate place is a pointless little. It's like that. You ever seen that movie Soul, a Disney movie? It's like purgatory. Everybody's just in there waiting to die or unalive. It's like really crazy.
I didn't see
But
Soul. I thought it was like a positive twist on purgatory or something.
it it I never thought of it that way. I guess you could call it a positive twist on purgatory. I saw it, but he really tries to go back to Earth a lot, and it's more about not wasting your time while you have it. The main character was trying to be a musician his whole life and never really put forth that max effort. Took those chances, and then right the day he found himself unalived, he was trying to put forth all that effort and get all those opportunities. And um, but a lot of times, the reason why I bring it up is a lot of times in these lives, and there is a positive aspect to it because people do care enough to open their mouths toward resolution, towards progress, whatever you want to call it. But so often they're in echo rooms just yelling at each other. And when I go live, I look for lives where it's the tone is it's subjectively objective, meaning we're looking for equity and equality. That's not an objective um, perspective. That's a subjective perspective, saying that we need these and there's reasons why. Um, but it's seen objectively, meaning when we talk about the truth about how we're going to get to the goals we want, how we're going to process the methodologies, and how we're going to move the movement in the direction we want, we are talking about the steps are objective. So we have to uh, write articles, we have to protest, we have to uh, learn how to fish, how to hunt, the full gamut of getting up out of this system, whether it's starting a small sustainable community with you and your friends or changing your diet to not include so many capitalist toxic bullshit plastic food. but
Right.
but it has to be framed, and a lot of people are not. That's my whole point, is that most lives that are going on out there right now are not framing it. Like, I still see lives where they're like, is $50 suitable for a date in 2023? And it's like, who cares? We're starving. We're being unalived out here. We're still being essayed out here. We're still being bigoted. We're still being, like, the whole thing. And it's just like, so when I come across spaces like this, I really appreciate. That's what I want to do. Extend my appreciation too, for and your willingness to kick people. Like, some people, they'll just have them in there for hours, and they'll even let people derail whole really good points where the whole 300 and some people in a live are learning something, and everybody, like, there's a vibe, and then they'll let somebody come in and derail it, still thinking that racism is just prejudice and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
just not. And I've been talking about. I'm bringing this up too because I've been going in and out of lives for so long on TikTok now that I got this epiphany where I was like, no, man, they had 12 years plus to brainwash everybody, and it's obvious they did a damn good job. We need grades, courses, and badges, like Boy Scout badges. You can't come if you don't have a yellow badge. You can't come up in here because I know you still think racism and prejudice are the same thing. If you if you don't have the purple badge, you can't come up in here because you still think that anger isn't an emotion, so men aren't as emotionally active or geared to their emotions as much as women. Like, the types of rhetoric that is still being spoken a lot of times in these lives is so counterproductive and so far from what it seems like they are even looking to get to, which is some kind of better life, better world, better ability to communicate with the opposite or the same sex, whatever. And it's just so convoluted through all this minutia of BS. So that's what I wanted to say. And then I wanted to plug something that I think would be very relevant here.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, I got like all kinds of stuff in my throat. I recently started a task force for disasters that are geared more towards the man-made disasters, financial, tyrannical disasters, and natural disasters, but any disaster that we can wrap our network around and deliver aid. So I call it Thorn to be conducive to the whole Evolving Seeds theme and gardening and nature and plant life theme. I call it the Tyranny Hazard Organization Response Network, or Thorn. And the reason why I'm bringing it up and plugging it is because in this type of space, there's plenty of people who know people who engage, and you yourself probably do, engage in mutual aid, because this task force is just simply a task force of individuals, organizations, and mutual aid networks that will be able to provide or intend to provide any resources, funding, any kind of assistance that they can with regard to these emerging man-made disasters and the natural disasters. So, for example, there's a bunch of encampments in Oregon that are being not just harassed by the police department and the city officials, but they've actually been bulldozing tent sites without checking to see if people are in the tents. They've been taking people's stuff indiscriminately, and 4 people have been unalived due to exposure because of this. And this is just in the last couple of weeks. And there are reports of them passing out Timpanol in order to, quote, have the problem take care of itself. So we've responded, and we've been asked to, promote or give this story some exposure. And so we're doing that, and then we have other resources. But I just wanted to plug that. So if anybody out there knows, anybody who does real hardcore activist work and they're solutions-focused activists, not just running around chasing their own tail, then please go ahead and plug us.
So, just excuse me if this sounds a little redundant, but I'm just like in disbelief. Not that I don't believe you. It's just that is absolutely wild to me that they would. So I don't
You talking about the fentanyl, huh?
yeah,
I know,
I'm
I
pretty
know.
shocked by that.
It's not, you're not believing me. You're having some skepticism with the concept, not the messenger. I understand that because I got it from the source. Some of the people that are out there in the encampments, and it's still very hard to believe. But it's so crazy because we shouldn't live in that world. It should be very easy to believe that that's actually the same thing that they did to the black community in the '80s with crack. So if they
I
wanted
mean,
to
you're right.
destabilize them. You know what I'm saying? They've done it before. So there's a quote out there that says, when you start to think that the government isn't doing something or wouldn't do something, just be rest assured that they've already done it a lot.
You're right. You absolutely right. Like what they did to Philadelphia, like and like black people with crack, just
Right.
anything. Like yeah, it's
And they'll
just
do it to their own.
we.
They'll do it to
I'm
their
sorry,
own.
what? Oh, definitely. White supremacy doesn't care about white people.
At all. And I can't believe that. I don't understand how white people don't see it, but even the black community is like, we should be more versed. We should understand. And I come from, like, I go through a lot of black community space TikToks, and I catch heat for certain things, and I catch love for other things. But um, it's this ideology that the way things are moving the way things move through society is like happenstance, or it's, I don't know, it's almost ethereal. Like people subconsciously know that government is so evil that they literally, it's hard to believe on both sides. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't do it, and it's hard to believe that they would do it. It just depends on the context, or I guess the year that you're, the decade you're sitting in, because they poisoned the alcohol during the 1920s prohibition movement. They poisoned 140,000 people by putting methanol in their alcohol. So they'll do it. They'll do
Yeah.
it. As long as the problem gets taken care of, that's the end result. And that's how I decide, that's how I discern what is really going on when something happens, whether it be Rona or any kind of anything the government says. I say, how do they benefit off of it? Who loses, and how much money is to be made? Follow the money. And yeah, it seems it's even a cheap way by government standards. And you got to remember too, the area that they're in, there is a large amount of esotericism, I should say, in esoteric culture in the United States, in Oregon. Uh, so a lot of these people feel like we stole this land fair and square, it's ours. And so the prevailing government has demonized existing legally through anti-homelessness laws. And so I'm going to do whatever I can to encourage the status quo and the state's mandate, which is to demonize and outright enforce homelessness and the abuse on people who lack adequate shelter. So I know. But I that's one of the things I do want to confirm. If I can confirm that, that would be a groundbreaking story. I do, and that's part of it. So one of the things we want to do with this task force is it's not this big old like armed thing where we run around or even be protesting, but we can offer, what we're trying to do is be able to offer support. So if they're out there breaking up encampments, do we have anybody we can call to go out there and like record, act as third party witnesses, act as instigators, antagonizers of the situation, and supporters of those who are being affected. And also, we want to be able to provide legal advice. And I don't mean, or excuse me, not legal advice, legal information. And I don't mean that as like lawyers and attorneys and stuff, but if you're familiar with the sovereign movement and the awareness of common law versus maritime law versus um, statute law and the methodologies of commerce and so on and so forth, to be able to, like, I was like, the first thing I told this person that called me, because like they hit up the website and they were like, bro, I don't know, I didn't know who else to get in contact with. We're basically getting assaulted out here on a daily basis. And I talked to him, and the first thing I told him was, don't just get a cop's name and badge number, get their bond number, because their bond number is the insurance claim that is attached to their person, to their, basically to their identity as a weapon of the state. And when you file a complaint against their bond number, it prompts the insurance company to have to hire or basically send in a third party investigative team, because insurance companies do not want to pay out the money. So if there was misconduct, the police are just open to get sued. But if you complain against their bond number, that is uh, something the insurance company ends up being responsible for. And like any good insurance company, they want to find any good reason not to pay. So the insurance company goes back and is always leaning towards putting the blame on the officer specifically and having the state pay out that lawsuit. So, and that's the information for everybody out there right now. Get the name, the badge, and most importantly, the bond number, because the bond number will have the name and badge number attached to it, but it won't go the other way. You won't have their bond number attached to their name if they give it to you. They won't have their bond number attached to their badge number if they give it to you. I mean, it will, but it's a lot more murky than just get the bond number. But those are just the type of tools. And then I have a person I'm trying to get more who, and but it's really great. Like everybody who I'm dealing with on this task force is top of their squad. So the one guy that I have dealing with the legal or the sovereign aspects of it and disseminating that information, they're able to hit me up and say, yeah, two of us just got arrested. This is what they charged him with. And I'm able to hit him up and say, hey, this is what or even give them, if he's willing to take direct correspondence, pass them on to him. But either way, I can ask and say, hey, two of them have been arrested. This is what they've been charged with. What steps can they take that aren't the traditional legal steps to get themselves, or how can they guide their so-called public defenders to get them to a place where they are in control and actually making the not making the rules or the suggestions, but making taking the steps toward their own freedom, toward their own liberation, and towards a resolution of their rights being violated, because that's essentially what's going on here. None of this stuff that they're doing to any of us is even in the Constitution at all. So from right there, I don't even know how constitutional law isn't just being thrown at every court case in the United States of America 100% of the time. But that's what we're trying to get to. And then we have one guy who's disseminating the information on his news network. It's not big at all. None of what we're doing, we're all independent people, but we're trying to make that force bigger by having each independent person or group or organization doing what they do best inside of a directory. So somebody calls EvolvingSeeds. What happened? Oh, my husband is a cop and he keeps whooping my ass, and I don't have anywhere to turn, because literally it's always his word versus mine, my word versus his. What can I do? And then we can step in and we can say, okay, so what would be the next logical step if we were going to help this person, and who and what types of help would we be able to offer? And that's what we're coming with.
Okay, that's all very informative. So you are right. You have made
Thank
the
you.
you have definitely theorized correctly that I am a mutual aid organizer. I operate out of Minnesota, and I'm actually a few blocks away from an encampment that's been sitting for a few months now that has been served an eviction as of, I think, yesterday. And it's like what you said about like people chasing their own tail. We definitely have a lot of wash, rinse, repeat about how we handle evictions, and like at some point I just dropped out of it because I got tired of that. Like we raise money and supplies for a camp. The camp gets evicted and bulldozed. Everybody loses their stuff and they get displaced. We raise money for supplies and we gather supplies. They start a new camp. The camp gets evicted. Like the
Right.
wash rinse repeat is strong out here, and it's
Have
like,
you
go ahead.
have you um have you ever, and this is, it shouldn't be, I'm just going to ask, are you familiar with intentional or sustainable communities?
Yes, I am.
So that's our whole thing too, is to get out of that cycle. And I was not talking about, I'm glad you brought that up because that's important. I wasn't talking about that specific chasing the tail. I was talking about like more so in the lives where, if you're out there, I know a lot of this is for naught anyway, damn near, because the world has gotten to a point where it's almost not coming back. But if you're out there, even it may feel like chasing your tail, and I know there's a wash, rinse, repeat with that, with the evictions and stuff, but you were doing the work and you're doing the work now. The way that what I was actually talking about specifically was just the types of conversations that I find in these lives that just can't lead anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, I know that's not where you're coming from, and that's why I get drawn here. But we are actually putting forth intentional, sustainable communities as the platform for getting out of that, because traditionally there hasn't been a model or a plan for what we could do outside of that. And we do raise a lot of money to do a lot of things. Like we're tossing a couple $1 billion around TikTok this year alone. Um, we came up with this concept where I call them gardens, where they're communities that are decentralized, ideology free, crowd-funded, intentional, sustainable communities, and off or alternative grid. I call it alternative grid because everybody will say, well, if you have Wi-Fi, you can get off grid, blah, 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 bullshit. But I digress. Like the idea, you know, rest stops between states.
Yes, I do.
The entire concept we have in a summary is to augment those and basically make rest stops that are on steroids, so that when you pull up to one of these rest stops, there would be housing or shelter, sleeping amenities, access to food, Wi-Fi, the basic necessities that you would find in any average home today. And these places of dwelling in these communities would be utilized through an app, or like Airbnb, where you would not request, what's the word, reserve your pod. You know, shortly before you get there. When you get there, you have key code that was sent to your email, and then you put that key code in, and when you leave that unit, the key code changes. And to have access to aquaponically grown, hydroponically grown fruits, vegetables, and to have all this available through a membership that is, something everybody agrees on. It wouldn't be more than $140 a month, but it would be you would be able to use any pod in this system for as long as you want. So if you moved into a pod, you could stay there as long as you want. You would occupy it daily, weekly, monthly, as long as you want. And then when you relinquish it, there would always be, in each community, there would be theoretically 70% on-site members, meaning people who live there, they're residents there, they reside there, and then 30 to 40% would be um, transient, meaning they're visiting. And so that's another way we raise money for these communities. These communities are funded by hosting other travelers, individuals. Like, we could undercut the price of mobile homes, undercut the price of motels. Instead of staying at a motel or a hotel for $80 or $112, you could stay with us for $20 if you're not a member. If you are a member, you're staying. It's right in there with your membership. And so, let's say that somebody comes to one of these hotels, these communities, and they don't have they're poor. They don't have much money. The amount that they could pay for their membership, they do have. They were looking to spend a little bit of money, like maybe $200 for 3 nights at a hotel. But for that same money, they can get a year membership and get that hotel night for free. Aside from them paying their opening membership, and use it along the way. The idea is to crowdfund these things in each state to where they are numerous enough and there's enough vacancy for there to be a transient type of usage of dwellings. We were never meant to be owned by our homes. You can own your home. We've always traditionally, in the last billion years, we've owned our home, but we've never been owned by our home until now. And this is one way to relinquish it, because nowadays people don't. Personal property is something that came through with the advent of capitalism, and we can return to a place where most things that you don't readily, like anything besides your clothes, your cell phone, and your private property, you don't need to own it. I don't need to own a car. I don't need to have to do the maintenance on a car. But through this, all the things we're fighting for, a universal basic income, the application of technology reasonably in order for it to alleviate suffering, all the things we're fighting for, we can just buy ourselves. And at this point, I don't see any other way, because we have to. My concept of this, we have to, because so much power is being relegated to the sector of corporatocracy and corporatism. It would seem we have to erect a counter corporation that is founded on the principles that we know are the kind of same principles that we want: sustainability, abundance, equity, the non-aggression principle, consent, those types of things. And so, when as we move forward and people are living in these communities, that's what they're afraid of. This plan I'm talking about is what they're afraid of, is us crowdfunding our own public facilities and just making them irrelevant.
I have a question.
So please.
Um, so you brought up hotels and stuff, which led me to make the assumption that this will be accessible to anybody with some form of card payment. How would our unbanked neighbors have access to a membership or being able to pay?
They don't. The cool part about this is, because, and I actually have it up, is that I knew that there should be something for what you're talking about. And so all of this that I just said is to create a foundation that becomes so transient and so transparent that it's because ideally, the way I've drawn this up is, there in each community there would be facilities. Now, I'm going to answer your actual full question, but I'm going to start with this. There will be facilities for people who aren't familiar with any of this, have never come in contact with the membership, don't have a penny in their name. They show up to one of the communities. We would like to have bunk rooms where there's one nice sized room. It has like 6 or 7 or 8 bunks in it, and somebody who's trying to get off the streets for the night will have access. Like, we don't want to have to turn anybody away ever for any reasons. With that said, there are ways to contribute that wouldn't actually need to be it wouldn't be recognized monetarily, or it would be converted into monetary form, but it would be, I call it contributions. So if somebody wanted to become a member and they didn't have anything and they couldn't buy a membership or pay for the membership, excuse me, one thing they could do is familiarize themselves with the program, with how everything works, and then essentially, quote unquote, work man hours selling, quote unquote, selling this concept to other people, or at least promoting it and getting people informed. And that labor, that the labor they exude to do that, whether they secure any new members or not, they can use as money for their own membership. And because the way I wrote this up is that all of the jobs, pretty much all of the jobs from so-called leadership positions, or not leadership positions, but facilitation positions, because there is no leadership, it's decentralized, but facilitation positions get paid the same. So my idea was to find out what the highest minimum wage in the entire country is, and then, start there and then decide how, because we can, as a corporation, we can, let me also explain that these people who are members of this corporation, as soon as they become members, they are also shareholders, stockholders, and employees, meaning they can work anywhere in the establishment of this, anywhere in the corporation, and begin to earn contribution credits, or whatever you want to call them, which essentially is equal and identical to money. So they don't have to put any money in, but they can still derive money out and still get all the other benefits. So EvolvingSeeds membership equates to the title shareholder and employee. Therefore, each member has the option to work at the EvolvingSeeds. I don't like to call this EvolvingSeeds. I like to call it Publix. Something the General Strike people have been throwing around with me is Universal Strike International as a company. It sounds very official. Businesses that their membership fees make it possible to establish. So the membership fee that everybody's paying is what we use from the beginning to the end, from initially into this thing's heyday, to fund the totality, the development, the maintenance of the community. Eventually, we would be able to erect businesses that are ethically sourced, eco-friendly, so-called eco-friendly businesses that would seek to replace the wasteful, gross businesses that we have out here now. And of course, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, but if we can get through or around that, and we're not engaging in so much capitalism on that end, we can do more ethical. And just because you can't completely not do something doesn't mean you don't do it to the best of your ability. So we can actually produce businesses, things that have a low overhead, like cafes, um, uh, online services, stuff like that, that people can also, who are members, work at and get paid their membership fee and plus. And then eventually what would happen is, because there's so much crowdfunding going on and we are actually making a profit in the public sector, that profit would be returned back to all of the members equally as a universal community income. That even kind of previews and insinuates just how much we're going to have to become our own thing to compete inside of this monster, because we can give our own selves. We don't have to wait for them or ask them for a universal basic income. We can give ourselves a universal community income, and all it entails is whoever's willing to get involved. It doesn't include the racist MAGA guy. It doesn't include the guy who's so rich all he cares about is snowboarding every day and wants to go have a latte in Italy in a couple hours. It doesn't include anybody. It doesn't include. It includes everybody who it includes.
Okay. So I didn't necessarily mean like people who don't have money. I mean people who just don't have bank accounts. Like, will they be able to pay with cash? Is what I was essentially asking.
They will. I I kind of hinted at it. I didn't answer that, but they would be able to. Largely, there's a large part of this that they wouldn't have to ever touch cash. Again, if somebody became a member and they didn't have any cash, and they didn't do that whole process I just talked about, when it came down for them to receive food at the community, it would be free, so they wouldn't have to touch cash there. If they became a member by selling or promoting the concept, I shouldn't say selling, but promoting the concept to other people, they would be paid. They may not have a bank account, but they would be able to utilize, checking, cash, whatever, to get the money that they've earned. But even then, if they don't touch that money or that bank account, when it comes time for their housing, when I said transparent, it's so that they became a member and now they're signing or they're filling out or they're putting in their app how many hours they're working. towards getting people aware of this, or maybe they cook. Maybe they are somebody, as soon as they went in the community, they started cooking, or maybe they work in the garden, or maybe they work with the mechanics area because we're trying to like help people with their cars and stuff like that to also make money for these communities. Um, they are being paid. The idea is to get people more paid and to do less pain. So they don't have to touch. I can honest as I'm sitting here, as you asked me that, and as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I honestly think that there's a good portion of this that somebody could actually do having not touched cash at all for months and months at a time.
Okay. So I'm going the plan is for me to save this live and see if either TikTok will like save it and upload it as public or I upload it on my YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Are you okay with that?
Oh yes, and I don't know if you know how. I just recently found out, but as soon as you go out of here, and it's even in your account sec area, but every live you ever do is in there still.
Yeah. But
So
I've had an issue where like I went to go download the live to re-upload it to my YouTube and the file messed up and I was like, good job, TikTok.
I
But
have the
like
same problem.
yeah, and that didn't happen with the previous live. The previous live downloaded and re-uploaded to YouTube just fine. It was that live that was a particularly important live that
Right.
messed
It
up. I
usually
was
is the
like, huh.
particularly important ones. Yeah. I'm so sorry
Yeah,
that happened, but that's so frustrating.
it really is. But some uh this is just all really important, and I want to go ahead and cut this live off because I think that a part of why it messed up is maybe because that live was so long. So I want
Oh
to go
yeah.
ahead and cut this and then clip it, upload the file to YouTube, uh, and also save it here. So what you followed me? I can follow you back, and like,
I
do you
do
have
follow
like a
you.
link tree on your profile or?
Please, and if you want, put your you could either plug your YouTube now or put it in the send me a message or put it in the comments. Or just tell me what's your YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. I mean I'm on the internet right now.
Okay, I will type it in the comments.
For sure.
There we go.
Heck yeah. That's it right there. That's SIK.
Yep.
Dope.
All right.
I
So I'm
mean,
gonna end this live, and I'm going to see if I can save this file and upload it to YouTube.
for sure.
And anything you any links or what or that you have in your bio, I can just copy and paste to there in the description.
For sure. I appreciate you.
For sure. It
And
was
thank
great
you for
talking.
hearing me.
For sure.
Be
It was
safe out
nice.
there.
Yeah, same to you. What did somebody told me? Take care and give care.
Right. Oh, that's dope. Take care and give care.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.